Hello and welcome to this Monday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. The Belgian police have arrested diamond merchant Mehul Choksi, one of the two prime accused in the $2 billion or almost 13,000 crore rupee Punjab National Bank fraud. Now, Choksi was arrested on Saturday at the behest of the Central Bureau of Investigation and is reportedly still in Belgian jail. Meanwhile, Indian investigating agencies sent a formal communique to Belgian authorities seeking Mehul Choksi's arrest after he had been spotted in that country. Meanwhile, my colleague Pablo Gutierrez gets us latest from Belgium.
Well, Mr. Mehul Choksi has been playing an international game of cat and mouse with Indian authorities over the last 7 years. He was, as you indicated at the beginning of your report, arrested in Antwerp this Saturday. Apparently, authorities were tipped off because some of the paperwork that he had submitted for his residency had anomalies. He had also failed to disclose his Indian and his Antigua citizenship. He became a citizen in Antigua in 2017. That is a year before the PNB fraud case broke out. He had also tried to stay for some time in the Dominican Republic. Authorities caught him trying to enter the country illegally, and he was deported back to Antigua. So as for now, he is currently in Antwerp awaiting the proceedings. There are two open warrants issued by a Mumbai court against him. And let's not forget that he still has significant resources. So his attorneys will likely fight his extradition on the basis of humanitarian needs, because it's been reported that he is here in Belgium to seek treatment for cancer conditions. So there's still a lot to happen in this case, but as of now, it appears this international game of cat and mouse is coming to an end here in the capital of Europe.
Ousted Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina tore into Mohammed Yunus-led interim government on Sunday, in fact branding him as a self-centered loan shark who plotted the country's downfall with foreign players to quench his thirst for power. In an 8-minute virtual address, she also raised doubts over what killed Abu Sayyed, the student protester who became a face of the resistance. Now, Hasina, who escaped to India last August fearing for her life, had vowed to return to Bangladesh days ago, saying that this was the reason, in fact, Allah had kept her alive. Addressing her supporters on Sunday, she also accused Yunus of erasing Bangladesh's history, especially those linked to the Awami League's contribution to the country's freedom struggle. Donald Trump has said on Sunday that he would be announcing the tariff rate on imported semiconductors over the next week, adding that there would be flexibility with some companies in the sector. Meanwhile, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has said that the administration's decision on Friday night to exempt a range of electronic devices from tariffs implemented earlier this month was only a temporary reprieve, with the secretary announcing that those items would in fact be subject to semiconductor tariffs that will likely come in a month or two, he said. On the other hand, EU Trade Commissioner Marcos Sefcovic will travel to Washington on Monday to hold meetings with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. China Xi Jinping begins a visit to Southeast Asia on Monday in an effort to strengthen Beijing's regional economic ties following U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff salvo. With stops planned in Vietnam, Cambodia and Malaysia, Xi is expected to cast China as a reliable trading partner in contrast to the unpredictability of Trump's Washington. But the three smaller nations must perform a diplomatic balancing act. Officials are likely wary of cozying up to China while pursuing trade deals with Trump. And they want to protect their domestic economies from a glut of cheap Chinese goods suddenly shut out from the U.S. markets. Even amid the chaos, no Southeast Asian country, in fact, has given up yet on its relationship with America. A new federal rule in the US could dramatically impact millions of immigrants, both undocumented and those legally residing on student, work, or travel visas. Under this new policy, any non-citizen over the age of 18 is now required to carry proof of registration at all times, regardless of their visa status. According to a new poll, Canadian Liberals continue to lead the federal election race at the halfway point of the campaign, but the Conservatives have narrowed the gap. The latest Ipsos poll exclusively for Global News shows 42% of Canadians surveyed would in fact vote for Liberals, down 4 points from last week, and the first time in fact since election began that the party has actually lost ground in these ratings. On the other hand of the aisle, the Conservatives are up 2 points at 36% currently. Ecuadorian voters vary of crime re-elected President Daniel Noboa, a conservative young billionaire with a divisive, no-holds-barred crime-fighting record, by a wide margin Sunday. But this opponent vowed to seek a recount over what she described as grotesque electoral fraud. Figures released by Ecuador's National Election Council showed Noboa receiving 55.8% of the votes, with more than 92% of ballots being casted, while leftist lawyer and his competitor Luisa Gonzalez earned 44% of the votes. Council President Diana Atament said these results showed an irreversible trend in favor of Noboa. The win gives Noboa 4 years to fulfill the promises he first made in 2023, when he stunned voters by winning a snap election and a 16-month presidency despite his limited political experience. The US has deported 10 more alleged members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua and the Mara Salvatrucha to El Salvador on Sunday. The alleged members are promptly transferred to El Salvador's notorious Terrorism Confinement Center, or the CECOT prison. The deportation takes place while El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele is in Washington to meet US President Donald Trump at the White House the following day. The Trump administration has already sent roughly 260 deportees to El Salvador's Terrorism Confinement Center. Pennsylvania police said Sunday a man was arrested and will face charges including attempted murder, terrorism, and attempted arson in an early morning fire that badly damaged the governor's mansion and forced Josh Shapiro, his family, and even his guests to quickly escape. Sunday's announcement comes after Shapiro and his family were awakened by state troopers at around 2 a.m. and were followingly evacuated from the official governor's residence in the state capital of Harrisburg. Shapiro told an afternoon news conference that he, his wife, their 4 children, 2 dogs, and another family that had celebrated the Jewish holiday of Passover with his family at the residence on Saturday were in fact awakened by state troopers. No one was injured and the fire was extinguished, according to authorities. Listen in.
First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better.
The US and Iran are set to hold a second round of nuclear talks this week after an initial meeting over the weekend that both sides described as being productive. The negotiations in Oman on Saturday, the highest level discussion between Washington and Tehran in years, displayed an effort to avoid what neither side wants, another war in West Asia. The next meeting could see progress on short-term agreements like Iran pausing uranium enrichment in exchange, of course, for relief for some maximum pressure sanctions. Now, Tehran is motivated to sustain the forward momentum. As per experts, the Iranian economy is hobbled by international restrictions and public discontent is also rising. Money is like ice, it melts very fast. This is the sentiment among some residents. The Trump administration has revived talks with Saudi officials over a deal that would give Saudi Arabia access to U.S. nuclear technology and also potentially allow to enrich its own uranium, Energy Secretary Chris Wright said on Sunday. Now, the deal which the Biden administration had pursued as part of a broader agreement for Saudi Arabia to establish ties with Israel, in fact, would enable the kingdom to develop a commercial nuclear power industry. Mr. Wright told journalists in Riyadh. He added that he expected to see meaningful developments this year in 2025. India and Africa have launched a mega joint naval exercise in Africa. It is scheduled for 6 days and 10 nations are participating in this naval exercise. This is Africa-India Key Maritime Engagement named AQUIME. And this drill will conclude on the 18th of April. The initiative aligns with the vision of the Prime Minister of India, PM Narendra Modi, in fact promoting mutual and holistic advancement for security and growth across the region. Over to West Asia, an Israeli airstrike early on Sunday has incapacitated the last fully functioning hospital in Gaza City as the military expands and intensifies, in fact, its campaign across the enclave. Parts of the hospital, including the emergency room and the reception area, were extensively damaged. A devastating assault by Sudan's Rapid Support Forces, or the RSF as they are called, on the Zamzam camp for displaced people near the Al-Fashar has left hundreds dead or wounded, the foreign ministry and aid groups have said, in what some also described as one of the worst violations since the war initially began. Now it's time we slip into a short break. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching the World Report. Goldman Sachs has raised its end 2025 golden price forecast to $3,700 per ounce from $3,300, with a projected range, in fact, of $3,650 to $3,950, citing stronger than expected demand from central banks and higher exchange-traded fund inflows due to recession risks. In fact, the bank said in a note dated Friday, and I'm quoting here, if a recession occurs, ETF inflows could accelerate further and lift gold prices to $3,880 per troy ounce by year end. Asian markets, meanwhile, advanced at the open after President Donald Trump paused import duties on a range of consumer electronics, lifting sentiment after a volatile, in fact, week for markets. The dollar slipped. Shares in the region gained along with equity index futures for the US and Europe early Monday as Trump paused some tech levies, though he indicated a break. Swiss generic drug manufacturer Sandoz said on Monday it had filed an antitrust lawsuit in the US against Amgen for entrenching the dominant market position of its blockbuster medicine, Enbrel. In the world of sports, the Lucknow Super Giants will face off against a struggling Chennai Super Kings at the Ekana Stadium this evening in the ongoing Indian Premier League 2025. After a shaky start to the tournament, Lucknow have bounced back strongly with 3 consecutive wins. On the other side, things are not so rosy for the CSK. The Chennai Super Kings have suffered a nightmare start to their latest IPL campaign. After a promising win over Mumbai Indians in their opener, the team has slumped to 5 straight defeats. Golf star Rory McIlroy ended his long wait for a Masters title with a birdie on the opening hole of a sudden death playoff to beat Justin Rose and claim, in fact, the career Grand Slam after. In a nerve-wracking final round on Sunday, McIlroy made sure he did not let his latest chance at major glory and clinch the title. The iconic Indian movie DDLJ, or Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, is now a British musical show in English. That's right, an English theatrical rom-com directed by Aditya Chopra will be launched in Manchester in England next week. NDTV's Radhika Iyer, in fact, met the top protagonists playing Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol's characters Raj and Simran in London as they, in fact, get ready for rehearsals of this musical show.
Baisakhi is one which celebrates new crops, harvest, something new, a rebirth similar to a crop that dies every year, comes back again in life. And similar to that, is what is happening with one particular movie in Indian cinema which touches the hearts of so many millions of people world over, especially South Indians living anywhere in the world. A tune from the song, a mention of a particular character or perhaps the protagonists, a particular location in Europe, or even a dialogue can make people nostalgic. I am talking about Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. From London, in fact, from this exciting location of Dishoom in Covent Garden, with me are Ashley and Jenna. Are you better known as Raj and Simran of this new era?
Maybe now, like the response to the show has been amazing, and I think the fact that it's after 30 years, it's coming back around, and everyone's so excited. So yeah, it is really cool to get to be like connected to this story and these characters because it means so much to so many people.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Let's chat a little bit or tell our audiences why we're here in London. Chatting with these two amazing people, Ashley Day and Jenna Pandya, who are playing Raj and Simran. In fact, Raj and Simran. Roger. This is a musical show, an adaptation in English language of this iconic movie DDLJ, which is celebrating 30 years. Wow, 30 years ago. I can't even remember what my age was and how little I could have been to understand the multiple emotions and the joyful scenes of that movie, but I love it. What a movie. What a movie. For millions of people. So this is a musical show for 2 hours and 19 minutes, which is going to be performed by Jenna and Ashley as Simran and Raj. And they're launching in the United Kingdom. So tell us a little bit about this musical show and when it's going to be brought alive by the two of you.
So we open in Manchester on the, I might have to lean back, the 29th of May. And we start rehearsals tomorrow in London. So we have 5 weeks here with a cast. I think it's around 30. Is that right?
Which is a big cast.
Big cast.
Yeah, big show.
And we have 5 weeks in London, and then before heading up to Manchester, it is so exciting. It's a rebirth of this amazing movie, such a huge cultural, iconic piece of movie, and now it's been turned into this crazy cool rom-com, rom-com to like the T. That was my first initial response to material. Like, when do we just see a rom-com these days? That doesn't really happen.
Yeah, I remember when we first met in the auditions, and Ashley was telling me like it's so nice to just be a part of something that's just really funny and feel good, you know, especially with like the way the world is. It's nice. People are going to come and see this show and just walk away feeling so happy, feeling rejuvenated, and that's what's so lovely about it. And I think opening in Manchester as well, that's such a vibrant city. It's such a cool place.
The Netflix miniseries Adolescence has got everyone talking. It has become Netflix's fourth most watched show ever. NDTV's Abira Dharrao spoke exclusively with actor Christine Trumarco, who portrays Amanda Miller, the mother of a 13-year-old arrested for murder. In fact, Abira also explored Christine's perspective on incel culture and its dangerous impact on modern society. Here's more.
Did you know what is an incel? What is incel? Did you know before you read the script?
No, I didn't know. I'd never heard the word incel until Stephen sent me the scripts. When I first read the scripts and read the word incel and obviously our story, then I looked into it and I was absolutely horrified. I was horrified. I had no idea that this level of misogyny was going on in our world and that our children were exposed to that. It's absolutely horrifying. It's terrifying. It is terrifying. And I think, you know, these are children, you know, they're vulnerable. for them to be radicalized like that is it's horrifying. And I think the success of the show and how people have felt about the show and the fact that it's opened up so many conversations, not just with mothers and fathers, with aunties, uncles, people who haven't got children, people who've got children, that it resonates with everyone, with children, adults, because it's exposed it to a level of what is happening out there and how dangerous it is.
And the California desert was buzzing over the weekend as the premier music festival Coachella got underway, with the likes of Lady Gaga and Missy Elliott set to helm day one's main stage. Thousands of music fans traversed the sprawling grounds, whipping paper fans and yielding parasols as temperatures cracked the 100-degree Fahrenheit mark. My colleague Mayank gets you this very special report.
The popular and eclectic music festival, Coachella, also known as the Party in the Valley, has kicked off. A melting pot of music, art and fashion in the deserts of California, much like the Woodstock of our generation. Pop music's biggest names have lined up, and the headliner this year is none other than Mother Monster Lady Gaga. Delivering an electrifying performance of over 90 minutes, Gaga served 22 songs, multiple edgy costume changes, an orchestra, army of powerful backup dancers, and a jaw-dropping stage that looked like a Roman opera house left the audience feeling Gaga ooh la la. Critics calling it one of her best performances till date. It was like 5 Super Bowl shows combined in one. Fresh off her White Lotus fame, Blackpink's Lisa also rocked the stage with her peppy and upbeat performance. Dressed in a leather bodysuit, the South Korean pop star flaunted her sizzling dance moves. Singer Benson Boone brought a surprise guest on stage, Queen's guitarist Brian May, and sent the audience in a nostalgic frenzy when he performed Freddie Mercury's hit song, Bohemian Rhapsody, completing it with those signature stretchy moves and the famous white fur cape. Brat artists Charlie XCX and Tyler turned the already hot valley into a sweaty mosh pit with their energetic performance. Rock band Green Day did not shy away from making a political statement on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Music duo Indo Warehouse gave a Desi funk performance and got actual Garba dancers on the stage. The viral sensation Hanuman Kind and singer Kumar Sanu's daughter Shannon K also rocked the valley. All this, and it's only one weekend at the diverse and colorful music festival, and so far Coachella 2025 has not let us down, making it a brilliant celebration of multiple art forms and culture.
And well, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful day.